welcome back to the podcast. As always, we appreciate everybody who's listening. This is episode 48 of Escambia Empires, where we shine the light on local entrepreneurs and business owners in Pensacola. As always, I'm joined by my brother and co-host, Danny. How you doing, Danny?
Pretty good tonight. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. It's been a little bit since we recorded an episode, so I'm excited to have Brant on this evening. Brant Peacher is his name, and Brant is, well, some of you may be familiar with him. He's a local realtor and YouTuber. He's really just involved. He described it as media. Media is his primary form of income. He builds businesses and things around his social media following. I believe at the time of our recording this evening, he's got 800,000 subscribers across, or 800,000 followers across his different social media. So we started off talking about what got him into the social media game in the first place, a little bit about real estate, and then we transitioned more into how to grow and find your audience and produce content. So there's a lot to unpack in this episode. And then actually, while we were at a break in the middle, he was telling you, Dan, about one of the functions that they had today.
Just want to highlight real quick, they actually had a meet and greet today, and they were raising money for the Gulf Coast Kids House Incorporated. So it's a nonprofit organization here in Pensacola, and I just wanted to highlight that real quick. I'm going to put in, he said they had a pretty good turnout at the meet and greet today, even though it rained. But even with that being said, I'm going to put a link in the description where you can go donate to them. Just a little plug there for them, since we didn't really talk about it much on air.
Yeah, I feel bad that I missed that. So anyway, like I said, we covered a lot of different topics, and he's a good guy. I'm excited to have gotten to meet him and learn a little bit from him, and I think that you will get a lot of value from this episode. So without any further ado, here is Brant Peacher. Brant, welcome to the show, man.
Glad to be here.
We're glad to have you here. So this is the first time we've recorded in a little bit. That's one thing about real estate, is there's always something going on, and we've had trips and different things. So we're excited to be back and do our do an episode with you. We've been having to reschedule and different things, so we're excited to have you on. Before we jump into some deeper questions and things, go ahead and just give everybody an overview of kind of what you do. And I know you have multiple businesses and things. Can you nutshell that as much as you can for us, and then we'll dive into each specific thing?
Yeah. I mean, just to put it simply, I leverage my online platforms that I've created, my personal brand, really, to create streams of income in businesses.
Interesting. Which looks like
that was a real nutshell.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's I'll give a for instance. Let's take YouTube for example. Right now I have almost 200,000 YouTube subscribers, and that's a business. And from that business, we're generating ad revenue through the platform. We have big companies that pay us monthly to advertise their product. We're selling our own product, and we're generating real estate leads from that platform. And so it's an entertainment platform that, we basically, my business model is to find a common ground with the customer. We're both interested in something, and that's why they're watching me. And then with the viewer, and then they become a customer.
Gotcha. Interesting. Okay, so that's pretty much, that's like you said, that's a really good nutshell. So let's jump into some more. I know you have a lot of different businesses. Really, how I know you is through real estate, and then you've got the YouTube channel.
Sure.
So let's just pick a couple that we can dissect just a little bit more. Give us an overview. You said multiple businesses, so real estate, YouTube, anything else that you want to kind of throw in there?
I would say those are the two primaries.
Two biggest. Okay.
Yeah.
For sure. All right. So then as far as real estate, can you give us a little bit of background? What got you into that in the first place, into selling? And I know, we lost one of our, the cleaners are leaving.
There we go.
So I know you're selling and you do a little bit of investing. Can you give us some?
Yeah. So I actually started buying rental properties in 2016. I think it was. I was buying out-of-state rental properties.
Really?
Yeah, and I was buying.
Like that's a hard place to start.
It actually was so smooth. A lot of people think that, but if you have the right system in place, it was super easy, and have the right property manager, have the right deals, You have to have people that you know in those areas, just to But there were good deals in the Midwest then, and so I started buying man, really nice single family homes for like $30,000 a piece.
Wow.
Which is a fun. I mean, it's hard to fathom a home now for $30,000.
Yeah. Something that's more than just four walls.
Yeah. And so, and I was doing that. Well, basically, what I was doing was I was generating money on the internet through my YouTube and Facebook.
How long ago did you start that YouTube and
2000? Well, I started Instagram first in 2013. I grew that to 130,000 followers.
Okay.
And I was doing well with Instagram, but I started YouTube in 2015 and Facebook in 2016, and they far surpassed Instagram with the amount of revenue they generated. And so I was taking that revenue and putting it into these rentals.
Okay, gotcha.
And so that's what kind of got me into real estate. And then by 2018, my leverage was pretty far and wide in the outdoor industry. And so that's the niche that I'm in, is fishing, outdoors, some travel, food, and basically Gulf Coast life. And so I got my real estate license because I got so many real estate inquiries through that channel.
So it's like, man, this would be a good, okay.
And I already knew real estate because I'm buying and selling rental properties. And so I got my real estate license. It was crazy because my first year, man, I had just a fantastic year. It was kind of nuts. And
what did you do in your first year?
$5 million but that was part time. And so that was like,
that's respectable if you're full time.
Yeah. And so that was a part time agent doing only doing like select deals. And then
ones you really knew weren't going to be problem clients.
big deals.
Okay,
Basically were all I was doing. And so I gave all my small deals away. And so then this year, the last year and a half, I've kind of slacked off real estate because my social media platforms are just doing so well. And it's so easy for me to get up in the morning, go create content, and come back, either whether I'm creating content for a company, whether I'm creating content, just to generate ad revenue. The amount of money that these platforms are paying, like YouTube and Facebook, I don't think people understand like where it's at now. And so
interesting.
It just far surpasses anything else I can do. And the quality of life is really incredible because I get to set my schedule. If I have something to do that day, I don't have to do anything. And it's great. So.
Yeah, interesting. Well, I definitely want to dive into YouTube and that kind of stuff a little bit more in detail in the future.
Sure.
So do you said you haven't been selling as much this year as far as investing. Where are you at?
I'm selling my rentals.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's a good time to liquidate.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
So as far as the out-of-state investing, where you have been doing that for several years, and you were buying and holding then and selling.
Yeah, and it went great. Like I had zero problems, hardly. I mean, you always have a few problems, but it went fantastic, and now's just a good time to kind of get rid of them.
Yeah. Okay. What were some things maybe about out-of-state investing? Because I think that's one of those things that spooks people a lot. What were some things maybe that you didn't understand about it before you started doing it, or some tips that you learned?
Yeah, so I actually had a friend that shared a joint office with me, and he was from the Midwest. And he got me interested in that market because, I mean, where can you go and buy a turnkey home for $30,000?
Yeah. Just
not
the
many
numbers
places
just worked out for you.
And put a tenant in it for $600 a month. And so if you run those numbers, they're incredible numbers. And so I was like, man, I got to jump in this, at least try. And so I started out and I bought a couple, and I got the property manager, and we became really good friends. So I would invite the property manager down here and take him fishing, whatever he wanted to do.
Treat him.
And then so he's always treated me great, and that is the key to being an out-of-state landlord. And I'm not really a landlord. I don't have to do anything.
Yeah.
And I never answer a call, is having a property manager that is on your side. You can't do it without it. It's nearly impossible. You can. There's systems to be put in place where you can, but it's not easy.
It switches from passive to kind of a full-time income.
It's a job. It's a job. Yeah. And so I was really just holding mine, and it made some money, but I was really just holding mine till the market changed.
Yeah,
try to sell them.
That's something that's, when you can buy them for that low, that's a really interesting strategy. Now you said it all depends on your systems. which is something that we talk about a good amount on the podcast, because that's how,
Mm-hmm.
you know, you have to have that checklist for everything.
Sure.
Did you develop your own systems in the beginning, or did you lean hard on the property manager for that? Or
I actually leaned hard on the guy that had rentals from the Midwest that was in my office, and he and I got to know each other, and he kind of said, you know, you need to do this, this, and this.
Yeah.
And so
That's
Interesting.
helpful. It's always
Yeah,
good to
it's-
have those people in
Mhm.
your
I was
life.
just going to say, if you could find somebody who's already done it, then that decreases your workload substantially. So
yeah, absolutely.
interesting.
So
Okay.
one quick question that I wanted to interject there. So you mentioned in the beginning, you said that we do this as, you know, YouTube. Do you have like a team that you're working with, or is it mostly just you? Do you have somebody that you?
No, I do have a
pass on to?
team. I own the platforms, but I do have a team. You know, I have a
Right.
camera guy. I have a team of influencers that I work with that are really great, that are also doing the same thing as me. You have to have a team. If you have a team, you're super powerful on the internet. And I think that teams are the future of the internet. You know, an example of an internet team would be like a Dude Perfect, if you are familiar.
Yeah. Oh,
okay.
yeah.
So when you have multiple characters and you form those collaborations, and you can go so far. And so with me, we actually just created a new business this year where I hooked up with multiple influencers along the Panhandle and one in Alabama. There's not many. They're few and far between that are like
Yeah.
true influencers that are actually making money off the internet, because a lot of people like look like they're making money off the internet or claim there's not
Yeah.
that many.
Yeah.
And so, I hooked up, formed a team. We do have an internet team now. And, so that's kind of the next business venture.
That's really cool. I was curious about that because, I mean, and it's always nice to have a team, like you said, because then different personalities connect with different personalities on your team.
Yeah.
So there's something for every viewer. That's really cool.
Absolutely.
And too, it can take some of that direct pressure off too. If you're not filming and editing and doing everything yourself, then that does help a lot.
Yeah,
too.
you could delegate some of it and,
Yeah.
and stuff like that.
Interesting.
Good deal.
Well, I mean, we're in real estate. We do sales, so a lot of my questions were kind of around that. I didn't realize that your focus is so much more on social media. So I think probably let's just go ahead and move straight into social media, because
Sure.
I want to make the most out of the time that we got you for. In the beginning, so you said you started, in the late 2010s in your social media. What, if you don't mind me asking, what got you started on that? Because I know a lot of people, they feel like they missed the
Yeah. How'd you make that decision?
Yeah. What brought you to that decision?
Okay, so I was, let's see, I was using my body extremely, like just abusing it for my job. Like
What were you doing?
I had a business then, and I owned a charter boat business in Pensacola.
Okay.
And so I was out on the water every single day from, up at 4:00, home at 7, doing it again. It is brutal in the hot sun, and even in the freezing cold of the winter. Didn't matter. That's what we were doing. And, I just felt like that there was like a whole lot more out there to, and that was kind of when the internet was just starting. And, I was watching, I always read a lot, watched different podcasts and watched YouTube. And it just struck me. I was like, there's nobody doing this in the outdoor industry. And, we live here on the beach. I'm taking people out in boats every day. I'm going to start documenting this. And that's what I did. I said, and who knows what it'll turn into. I never expected it to turn into what it's turned into. It's kind of going crazy, but that's just it's just like something inside me said I need to document what I'm doing. And so I started very, very early on social media compared to most people.
Yeah. Because I know a lot of people are now trying to jump in and jump on that train and
So
catch
hard,
it.
man.
Yeah, it's a lot harder.
Oversaturated.
It's so hard, but it's such a valuable platform. Like to have a big platform, like I said, I can jump into real estate, sell $5 million in 1 year, and
people already
never
know who
have
you
to
are.
pay one dime for marketing. In fact, I get paid for marketing, which is fascinating.
Yeah.
Like, so if I go out and make a video, I'm and say, hey guys, by the by the way, I'm fishing in front of this condo that I showed yesterday, and if you need to need any real estate contact me below.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
I'm getting paid for that video, and I'm
And you're getting
also
real estate
getting
leads
real
from it.
estate leads from it.
Yeah,
So
that's
it's kind of
great.
fascinating.
Yeah.
It is definitely an exciting. I feel like there's a tipping point there where
Mhm.
you work hard and you create content, and then after a certain point in time, you kind of wake up and realize things are.
There
coming
was, man,
easier.
and for me, like the charter business was very tough. I quit that in 2017. And it was I didn't like it. It paid decent, but you had to just work crazy hours, abuse your body, and so for me to have the YouTube, Facebook, and real estate stuff take off was just a blessing. It was great.
Yeah. What do you feel are some of the mistakes that keep newcomers potentially from seeing success in the social media?
One of them is caring what other people think.
Interesting.
So you have to be outlandish. You have to stand out. And I'm not saying in an unprofessional way.
Yeah.
You have to just be your own authentic person and not because it does not matter what you are doing on social media. You can be the most wholesome person in the world and, have a cake baking business and
It's pretty wholesome.
and you're going to get extreme haters. You're going to have people talk about you. You're going to have your friends make fun of you when you start, when you're small, and it's hard to get past that hump. And so I had it majorly because I was one of the first ones to start putting myself out there.
I would say it's more socially acceptable now than it ever has been.
Way more. And so when people back in 2015 would see me around town with like a camera up talking in front of it, I felt like an idiot. I'm not gonna lie. Like people would look at me like I was crazy back
I
then.
bet they would.
Yeah, and so but then it got to that 2018 was the tipping point, and it got to the point where I was like, oh man, it's like I've done it. People accepted me. They were like, "Oh, Brant's done this. He's done it." The money was coming in. I was able to leave the charter boat business, and it was just great. So.
Yeah.
That's
And then I'm
phenomenal.
sure people probably tell you how lucky you are.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
They don't understand that
Yeah,
you
but
put
I
in-
got in at the beginning.
I made 400 videos on YouTube before I ever made any money.
Really?
Because they didn't pay back then. Like they didn't pay anything. I had some videos early on do well, and it didn't matter. I mean, you might make $30 off of it.
Interesting. Very different from how it is now.
And now, man, you're getting paid real money now, and so it's fascinating.
If you don't mind, could you give an example of if you have a video do moderately well before like sponsorships and things? I don't even know, how does YouTube pay?
So YouTube pays, it's a CPM. That's how we judge it. Cost per million views. And so, for every million views, you get paid, let's say, I think it's right now, man, God, it's high. It's like $17 to $20 CPM. And so if you get 1 million views, you may be bringing in $20,000 a month. 1 million views in a month.
Okay.
That's what I'm talking about. And so if you have 500 videos out there that you've made over the past 5 years, and they're each getting viewed daily, and you're putting up new content too, it's pretty easy to get 1 million views.
It starts to add up.
Pretty easy to get 2 million views once you've done it for so long. And so, and now that Facebook is doing the same, a lot of people don't know that Facebook is has a monetization program just like YouTube, and they're paying really well. And Facebook's like 50% of my income right now.
Wow.
Really? Interesting.
I mean, I didn't know that. That's for sure. And I felt like for a while there, especially, I felt like I was pretty up to speed on everything, and now I'm feeling like I'm lagging.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, it's crazy. And two, another great lead generator, for example, a couple days ago I made a video, and we made a funny skit at the end of the video where my cameraman came out and acted like he was going to go show this expensive home with me. I'm like, man, and he comes out dressed in this crazy looking suit. I'm like, man, you ain't going with me. And he's like, come on, man, I'm going to go help you sell this home. And that's how we kind of ended the video. And the next day I had an email that was like, hey, Brant, I love that. It's hilarious. By the way, we're moving down here, and we want to buy a home. And by the way, my friend lives in Florida, and he's about to sell his home, and I want you to help him sell his home. So it's like that's the kind of stuff that happens.
Yeah. And the interesting
Organic.
things about those too. I mean, I know people who are spending, I mean, there's probably people who spend way more. People spending $5-10 a month on Zillow.
I
for
know
buyer
a
leads,
lot of
a
lot of people that are spending close to 10 a month on
which
Zillow.
is just crazy.
Mm-hmm.
And that's obviously, presumably, it's profitable for them, so they're making something back on that. But that's a lot of money in lead gen, and those are people who they're getting buyer leads who never even talked to them before. They have no idea who you're calling.
And so that has been the greatest thing about having a platform that's a personal brand. Is these people online feel like they know you.
Yeah.
And so we had like a meet and greet this afternoon, and it was on 9 Mile Road in Pensacola, and me and my cameraman is insanely popular. And he has
make you jealous a little bit.
Yeah, he has his own YouTube channel now.
Good.
And he has, thousands of subscribers. Dude, he got popular from my channel, but he's funny. He's likable and funny.
It's exciting that he's able to do that.
And so we had a meet and greet, and just hundreds and hundreds of people showed up. People were one group traveled from Kentucky, and so these people feel like they're your friend.
Yeah.
And so when somebody feels like they're your friend, and they need to sell a home, they're going to say, hey, I'm going to go contact Brant because, man, I see his face every day. I know that guy. And when somebody sees a Zillow ad, like, who stops on a Zillow ad, honestly, except maybe if somebody's like really looking hardcore for a home, but I mean, it's I don't know.
Yeah, it's the same thing with Facebook lead gen. I mean, really just in general, marketing for buyer leads. You're getting people who don't know you. They don't have any loyalty to you.
It's just about, it's all about who works hardest and stuff like that. It's not about your personality and
100%.
How well they mesh with you.
And you know as well as I do, like a first-year agent should not be able to sell $1 million home on the beach.
Yeah,
like
100%.
it should. Hardly any of them do. And
hardly many agents.
And
at all.
I was able to sell one my very first year in real estate. That was almost $1 million beach house.
Yeah,
it's. I thought that was pretty cool, and it just showed the power of having influence online.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you started with your outdoor kind of niche. I'm assuming that was influenced because of your experience in the charters.
Well, it started because I wanted a place. For one, nobody was doing it, but number two, I wanted a place for my charter boat clients. They could go home and like see their videos online.
Yeah,
okay.
like skydiving or something like that.
Yeah, and so nobody was doing that, and so I was giving like them a place to see their trip. And so I learned to edit and learned to film, learn to edit.
Okay.
And you don't have to be like crazy good or anything, just like decent. And then it just kind of evolved. And now it's evolved into more of a reality TV show.
Interesting. Wow. So I guess that's leading into my next question would be how, if somebody were to get started now, I mean, there's a lot of advice out there for stuff, but a lot of advice from people who I would argue that don't really know what they're talking about. If somebody were to come to you and say, hey, I really want to start a successful YouTube channel, what should I talk about or what should I do?
Sure. I would ask my first question, why? Do you want to become a famous YouTuber, or do you have a business that you're wanting to generate leads from, or you want to sell a product from? Because there's two different ways to do YouTube. If you're wanting to if you're a real estate agent, you don't have to have 800,000 followers.
Yeah.
You can have 5,000 loyal followers that watch your channel, and you sell homes from that. Now, if you want to be somebody that's known all over online and makes lots of money in ad revenue and get sponsorships, then you need to have a different approach. And so like the approach from, and so then would go into my next question, and I would say, okay, what do you like to do? Because a lot of real estate agents and I'm using real estate because we're all in real estate.
Yeah.
A lot of real estate agents make the mistake when they create these platforms online. They talk about real estate, right? How to do this and how to get your license, how to do this. That's not really the way to bring in the general public, because that's the way to bring in new agents.
Other realtors, yeah.
And so I would say, what do you like to do? Oh, you like to go out to eat? Okay. Well, you need to go and you need to start a dining review channel. And that's where you need to start very niche, because and then expand. Like now, I can pretty much put up anything I want. People are going to watch it because I'm at that point.
Yeah.
But you need to start very niche. And so you like collecting seashells. Okay, we'll start collecting seashells. You'd be surprised how many people would watch you collect seashells on Pensacola Beach if that's what you like to do. There's tons of tourists that would do that, and then those tourists find a common ground. Oh, we're gonna. He's also a real estate agent. That's cool. We're gonna go hire the seashell guy to sell us a vacation home.
Yeah,
and that's how it works.
That's a great suggestion. Yeah, I feel like that could go a lot of different ways too. Just find something that you're passionate about, and it can last too.
Yeah.
But that's really good advice.
Interesting. So you said there's different approaches, and that would be, if you're an agent trying to generate leads.
Yeah, I would do multiple things. I would do. You could I would probably start off with what I like to do. And mention real estate. You kind of soft sell it through the videos, and that would be my approach, and that's what I do now. You can get on there and be the expert if you want, and just talk about real estate. That would work. It's better than not putting yourself out there.
Yeah, fair enough.
But for me, I've seen these platforms. I mean, people are much more. People want to get online and see something that entertains them, and they're going to want to get on and see a dining review of Global Grill way before they want to get on and see how an agent got his real estate license, or how an agent did this and sold his first home.
Yeah, because it's more like you said earlier, it's more applicable to them rather than just learning about some random person they don't know.
Yeah, and it's more entertaining too. I mean, at the end of the day, people are scrolling through YouTube just clicking on videos.
Sure. And so I used fishing. And lots of people come here to fish. Lots of people come to the coast to book charters and stay in hotels and fish off the beach. And so I used fishing and what's funny is hardly any of my sales have been from local people. They've all been from out-of-towners who've either owned vacation homes and wanted to sell them, or wanted to buy vacation homes.
That's interesting.
That is interesting. But I mean, it's this market. I mean, just in Pensacola alone, I think there's 3,000 or 4,000 agents, and I know it's the same in any major city. There's a lot of people here, but when you can tap into other markets that are coming, or people who don't live here, that's a much broader market than people who've lived here their entire life.
Yeah, it just opens up your view.
Because if you lived here, 10 realtors that right off the top of your head. Everybody knows everybody.
Yeah, and it was funny because it's a proven method too. This guy, he's crazy, but he had an office with me downtown. He's a YouTuber, and he's one of the only other YouTubers in town, and he has a lot of subscribers. Now, he makes just all kind of different videos. He's not in one niche or anything. Well, he saw
who you're talking about.
He saw what I did in real estate, and he was like, man, I got to get my real estate license. And the dude's pretty smart in real estate. He owns a lot of real estate. He owns a lot of rental properties, and so he knows what he's doing. He gets his real estate license in 2020, did not become licensed until I want to say November of 2020. And right now he's already sold 4.5 million this year from his YouTube channel.
Okay, yeah. So coming up on 1 year, it's
pretty
good average,
solid.
like we were talking
Pretty
about a minute
That is
ago.
really solid.
That's great.
In a time when, I mean, it's a busy market,
But it's not easy to sell real estate right now.
100%.
Even with the fact that homes are selling in one day. I mean, like if you look at the market, there's not a lot of great homes on the market right now. I mean, there's very, very few. And so even a buyer's agent, I mean, I wouldn't even want to be a buyer's agent right now.
It's pretty tough.
Yeah,
It's got to be tough. And then, man, if you're trying to sell you're trying to get these leads on listings, and it's tough too because there's not that many of them.
You're gonna be going to a listing appointment with 10 of the people waiting in line.
I know. Yeah. So,
all right. So just a couple more questions for
Sure.
you. So first of all, I'm curious how so you're talking about the difference. Facebook has started monetizing their viewership and things like that. What are some of the ways that you do different types of content for each different platform? How do you tailor it?
Yeah, so let's take YouTube first, and YouTube's going to be your longer. People go to YouTube with intentions of watching a longer video. And these people that are loyal followers to your channel, they're going to watch whatever you put up. It does not matter how long it is. And so, you know, I like to do my 15 to 25 minute videos on YouTube. And if you jump over to Facebook, it's funny because Facebook, there's a lot of people on Facebook that don't use YouTube. So there's a whole different crowd. And up until this year, it was shorter content that worked. But once you build the trust and the loyal following, now we're pumping out 12 to 15 minute videos on Facebook and having like an average, you know, on a 30 or 40,000 view video, we'll have like an average of an 8 to 10 minute average view duration.
Wow. More than half.
And so that's a lot because you're also getting a lot of people that, you know, click on it for 15 seconds and click off.
Keep swiping.
You know, so to have that average view duration of that means that people are actually going to the Facebook platform now to watch longer videos. And so that's pretty cool. And then Instagram, I'm just not a major fan of Instagram anymore. You know, I use it, but it's a tough platform. You know, it's I post pictures on there, but I don't. You know, I actually have generated leads off of there from stories, but I don't use it for anything else but stories and pictures, and it's just not that. It's not my favorite. Yeah, I mean, it's not. There are certain people killing Instagram.
Yeah,
a lot of the female genre is killing Instagram and like the beauty and industry and stuff like that. That is like really taking off on Instagram, and they're actually making a lot of money. But
so we're out of luck on Instagram.
Yeah,
Got his bald head over here.
So, and so somebody like me, it's tough to compete on Instagram.
Sure,
it really
sure.
is, you know,
I definitely agree with that. That's a lot of what the platform, and it's. I mean, they lean pretty heavily on stories now and reels.
They do. Reels are coming along. Food does really well on Instagram. I will say that. So
Interesting. Okay.
yeah.
Well, moving into just a couple more things about you personally.
Sure.
Then. So when you're not filming outdoorsy videos for the channel and things like that, or selling real estate, what the amount that you sell or doing business, what do you enjoy doing in your free time?
So, you know, walking, exercising, you know, listening to audibles, watching, laying in bed and watching TV sometimes.
Feels good, man. Just to relax.
Going out to dinner. And that's about it, really.
Yeah. Just enjoying the lifestyle.
Yeah.
So where's your favorite place to go in Pensacola for dinner then? If you had to pick one place, because I tried to answer this question. It was hard to choose, but
probably Global Grill.
Okay.
Why have we never been to Global Grill?
Yeah, that's a good question. Yeah,
sounds like
that's why we get recommendations.
So the reason I like it is because it doesn't matter what mood you're in. There's something for you. If you want a steak, I think they have the best filet mignon in town, but they also have the best tapas in town. So if you want appetizers, their appetizers are awesome.
Okay.
Great drinks. It's great atmosphere. Like I can't find another restaurant in town where I can put everything together like that.
Yeah.
And so it's really tough. And their drinks are phenomenal. Desserts are phenomenal. Appetizers. They have a huge appetizer list. Like a lot of people just go there for appetizers.
Wow.
And so it has everything, a little bit of everything.
Okay.
Well, good recommendation.
Sounds good.
We'll add it to our list.
So that's number one. Number two is what do you feel is the most useful app on your phone right now? And I know did we give them these questions beforehand?
YouTube.
Yeah. YouTube.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm
I mean,
actually
have
not going
to
to let you say YouTube.
Okay. So okay. Interesting.
What would you say, like, as far as if you were to tell somebody, like, here's what I use, like not like Google Maps or something like that, but here's what I use that would benefit you on a more often basis, like doesn't have to be daily basis, but.
It's an interesting question because I don't use a lot of apps,
Okay.
believe it or not. I'm just not I have, so I stay very focused on like what is working for me, what makes me money. And so I don't like stray from that very far.
Okay.
And so I use literally probably have like 5 apps that I use on my phone.
Really?
Well, cool.
It's really fascinating.
I feel like
to me.
YouTube was a safe
Yeah,
answer then.
Retract what I
Solid
said
answer.
earlier then.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, I use Zillow.
Yeah.
A lot. I mean, I'm always on Zillow.
Uh-huh.
My radar. Checking the weather to see if I can go fishing.
Yep. Okay, there you go. All right, that's fine. And then you mentioned Audible. Do you have a favorite, maybe book or self-development book, business book?
I'm gonna say one that I've read multiple times that I keep coming back to is The 12-Week Year.
Okay, I haven't heard of that one.
It's by Brian Morgan. The reason that I like The 12-Week Year is, so I feel like that, in order to really create something big, in order to create something great, I feel like a lot of people underestimate exactly the amount of effort that takes. And so it's very hard. Most people set annual goals at the beginning of the year. Hey, this is my resolution.
Yeah.
These are my goals for the year. These are my financial goals. Well, after a couple months, it's like you're back to normal. You forget about those goals.
That's the classic thing about New Year's resolutions.
Yeah, and so it's very hard to stay motivated for an entire year to reach one end of the year goal. And so if you are going to create something big and create something great, you need to stay motivated all the time. And so what the 12-week year does is it basically is block time. It takes 12 weeks. You set goals for the 12 weeks, an ending goal, like the end of the year is that 12th week. That's the end of the year. And then you break down each week and you structure it to where you have to complete these tasks during the week. And if you complete these tasks, you should be able to hit the goal. And so at the end of the 12 weeks, you hit your goal. It's like, you celebrate, go on a 2-day vacation, your year's over, and then you start a new year for another 12 weeks.
Interesting.
But the book there's a lot more to it than that.
Okay.
It's super motivating, very fascinating. And anytime that I'm feeling, if I'm feeling lack of motivation, or if I'm feeling, kind of down or not like I want to do anything, I go out and walk and listen to that book. And it always sets me back on the right course.
Good deal.
What I need to do.
Okay.
Well, that's worth
I'll
it right
add that
there.
to the list too. I like reading, so I'll definitely
Let's go ahead and cut
check
that
one out.
for Instagram as well. Okay, and then our fourth question is typically where can people find and connect with you? But we've been talking about social media just about this whole time, so we'll just put
Google
links to
your
all
name.
your channels in there. So my very last question, and I hope I'm not putting you on the spot with this one either, but what's an accomplishment that you are the most proud of, whether it's personal or in business?
Yeah, so I would say being able to transition in a relatively short period of time my entire life from having to use my body 12 hours a day to work to now using my brain to work and make way more money and have a lot more time off and a lot more free time to do what I want to do. I'm not a slave to work anymore. And I was able to do that in like a, 3 to 4 year period.
Yeah.
And so that to me is like the greatest achievement that I've ever, because, it's just a freedom.
Yeah.
Like I feel a freedom now that 4 years ago I did not feel.
Yeah.
And so that to me
That's
is
important.
Yeah.
That's priceless too. I
Yeah.
mean, you kind of buy the rest of your life with that.
Sure. Absolutely. man.
Interesting.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Brant, we appreciate you coming on. It really has been a super informative episode, and I feel like there's been a lot of things in here that we could dive further into. I'm sure we'll have you on again at some point down the road, but appreciate you making the time to come on the show.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Not a problem, man.
All right, man. Appreciate it.
Yeah.